Everyone's doing the visualizations, the vision boards, the affirmations. So why is it that some people can manifest easily while others can't make it work no matter what they do? Let's see what Spirit has to say. All right, Spirit, what's the deal with manifesting? Why is it so easy for some, but near impossible for others? Okay. Well, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, which for me is a card about self-imprisonment. Like in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, she's blindfolded and she could just walk away from the swords, but she doesn't know that because she can't see it because of the blind. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Um, so we have that reversed, and the Empress is pretty self-explanatory. And the Five of Cups, which is about dissatisfaction with the yields of an emotional effort. The Seven of Swords, which is about treachery and theft. The Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay. I can tell that there's a card missing because I was with you through the Empress and then lost you after that. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. We have the Four of Pentacles. In this deck, it's the Four of Shields in reverse, which is basically an apprentice putting in the work, but not really, like they're happy to do the work, but they're not where they want to be. You can see that they are very annoyed by this mentor talking at them nonstop. So possibly distracting them from their work. But anyway, so that's reversed. So we have those who can manifest easily and those who cannot. This is the manifestation, what you wish for, the longing, and what you're trying to bring into your life. The Empress knows how to get around her own self-limiting barriers. The apprentice isn't looking at the right thing. They need some sort of new thought. Like, obviously, that's why we're here, but something isn't clicking, and it's betraying themselves. So, I guess we'll take a closer look at it. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Specifically, what is it about this group over here that we're dubbing the Apprentice that makes it so hard to manifest? That they're doing all the things, they're doing the vision boards, they're saying the affirmations, they're living in the now, or you know, the key phrases that I am not thinking of at the moment. That group, what is it that is not clicking for them? That's the Eight of Pentacles, which goes with the Apprentice. The Apprentice becomes basically the master himself and is doing the work for the sake of doing the work, and, you know, is very proud. We have Death in reverse. It's because you're focusing on becoming the master. That's what you're manifesting. You're you're manifesting the end results. We have the Four of Cups here and the Sun in reverse, which the Four of Cups is also emotional stagnation and dissatisfaction. Not quite the longing that the Five of Cups is, because it's more like you're just realizing the stagnation and dissatisfaction. And then that the Sun in reverse is going to be a little bit of a dimming of the power. It's still a positive card. The Sun is never a negative card for me. It's just not as bright as it could be. So, the problem with with this group over here, the Apprentice, is that they are trying to bring in the end result. You want the specific thing, and you are asking for that specific thing. However, no matter what you do, even if you do get the specific thing or you don't, tends to not be what you thought it was and not actually what you want. So then you get dissatisfied in it. And that also creates a loop, sort of a lack loop, which we all know you need to be in the abundance mindset and all that for manifestations to come through. But you're being too specific. Let's go ahead and, because we don't really need to read into the Empress any more than that, because we're working on how do we transition from the Apprentice to the Empress. And these cards are not indicators of any sort of masculine, feminine, any gender identity, anything like that. It's just the Empress is a powerful nurturer, manifester. The Apprentice is, still learning. So, regardless of identities. Okay, so how does the Apprentice become the Empress? We have the King of Wands, which is a patient but passionate masculine figure who is very comfortable in himself, comfortable in his life. He's not really seeking more than what he's got, because he's relatively happy. And he tries to help others find that same happiness. And we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the first thing the Apprentice needs to do is let go of control. My best friend in the world likes to say that you can't control timing. You can control a lot of things, but the timing is not one of them. At least for most people. So you need to let go of control of this cycle altogether. Like, regardless of what you're trying to manifest, whether it's a career or a romance or a new friend or whatever, right? You need to let go of control of what that thing is going to look like. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. This mindset of, life paths and cycles and, being able to learn your way through into your manifestations, that is a mindset of the past. The Knight of Wands, Knight of Spears in this deck, but the Knight of Wands reverse here versus the King of Wands over here. So, the Apprentice is trying to become the king, which means letting go of this mindset here, that there is a set path and a destiny and, that you just need to do the right things and do the right steps, and the end is going to come because that's how it works. Because I hate to break it to you, that's not how it works. How does it work, Spirit? Let's get my ego out of here. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Magician in reverse, and the King of Shields, which is King of Pentacles, in reverse. It's really not as much about magic as you might think. Manifesting isn't so much about forcing your will into the universe. It's about accepting your limitations, accepting that things are not working out the way you want them to, and asking for a better path, asking for a different direction. You need to ask for what will make you feel certain ways. You need to manifest the feeling of being happy, the feeling of being in love, the feeling of being emotionally stable and financially stable and whatever it is you're trying to get here. But you need to manifest the feeling of it, because the universe has a lot of moving parts to it, that even if you poked and prodded and you had some magical way to get all of your answers answered or questions answered, it still wouldn't be able to explain how complicated everything is when you bring in free will. So you might be manifesting a specific job, let's say. But let's say you get that job and then it turns out the CEO has a scandal and now that company is, completely dissolved and that dream job is gone. But you wanted that specific job with that specific company, and this is just the only way the universe could give it to you because you weren't willing to budge. However, if you were to manifest, I want a job that pays my bills and allows me to use this skill set, allows me to think this way and that, and, make a list if you can. That's writing it down is a great tool. But how it would feel to live that life, not what it looks like, not the details, just I want a job that makes me feel in control, stable, whatever. And that's what the Empress is doing. Because everything else up until this point has been ego. It's all been human nature, it's all been psychology, it's all been trauma, all of those things. And I'm sure people have said this in all sorts of different ways, but it's that mental block that's stopping your manifestation. And it's because you're trying to create a certain image and you need to let go of some of those details. So that's all I've got. This is a pretty short reading, but there you have it. So I will see y'all in the next one.